What is going on, everyone? Becca here with a brand new game design tutorial, and in today's video, we're gonna be working with a day scene render that I recently finished in Blender, and we're gonna actually I'm gonna go through the process of like actually of like turning this into a night scene. It's a very simple process, and this scene is actually going to be used in a animation that I'm working on, but I've already briefly talked about like how to set up a rain animation, which is what's going to be used in this particular scene. But I'm not going to actually do that part in this video because it would be a lot to do, and I don't think my computer can handle like rendering like actually showing you the actual rain render and like recording at the same time. So we're just gonna do the initial part, which is like making it into a night scene. So this is the original. Let me just pull it up. This is the original image, well, render that we're gonna be working with. And you can see it's just a very simple park scene. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make this actual sky night, like dark out, and we're gonna add some lighting into these to create some lights, and then we're also gonna add in some make the actual floor wet, because there's gonna be rain in this animation, so we're gonna want the floor to be wet. Okay. Alright, and so we are in Blender right now. So the first thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna just switch to our shading tab, and I'm actually gonna switch to look dev. That way it's easier to do everything that I need to do. Let's just let this finish loading. Okay. Now you can see in look dev, it looks a lot like more what's the word? You can see the colors more. I can't think of the word, but so right now we're in object view, and we want to actually switch to world view. And this is the HDR I'm working with. You can see that I added a texture coordinate. I added some mapping. The reason for these two nodes is so you can change so you can rotate the HDR, and this is the HDR we're working with. But in this setup, we can't really change anything besides that. So we're actually gonna add something else. We're gonna actually add a background node, and we're gonna just snap it into there. And so what this is going to allow us to do is that by adjusting the strength, we can allow us to create a night scene. So let's drop that all the way down to 0. And it's already looking like a night scene, but we need to add some more stuff to it. And I'm actually going to switch to the scene view, yeah. Alright. So next we're gonna add in some more lighting. So let's add a point lamp for now, just so we can get see if we need to use a different type of light. We're just gonna move it into place. What I like about the point lamp is that it's a directly straight down thing, which is exactly what we want. And when you're using the point lamp on an actual lamp, you want the actual thing to be completely centered within the entire thing. Okay, I think that's good. So now let's go into the light and increase it to 100 watts. So let's see how that looks. Okay, that creates some some light, but not the type of light that we're actually looking for. What I'm looking for is a light that will allow me to like really create that look, that look that it's like shining out of the actual thing. So let's add a different light. Let's add a point lamp instead. There we go. That's the type of lamp I want. And again, we want to make it 100 watts because that's a typical amount. That's typical amount. And let's increase the range. So like right about there, I guess. Oh, it's not completely centered. Alright, that's better. But it still is. It's still like pretty black. So what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to make this, change this, the texture, the shader on this. We're gonna want to add an emission shader on this. Let's add an emission on this. Yeah, and just the default setting is good. And let's switch to edit mode. And we're just gonna select it. And then, no. And we're gonna switch to this view and make sure to select the end. Oh wait, actually I could just do like that. And assign. There we go, that's better. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this light. If I can select the light. And put it on each. Actually, really quick, I'm gonna turn on my fan because it's getting hot in here. Sometimes you need some extra lighting. Well, not lighting, some like extra fan lights. And then Shift D. I'm gonna have to fix that, adjust that, but I'll fix it later. Let's actually increase range of it. I would say it would probably be about 80. That's just a guess, but 80 seems like a good amount. Let me see how it... I think that looks good. We have to move this over. And then this light, we also need to make 80. Needs to be bigger. Make them 90, because I want that entire area to be covered. It's hard to touch that light. There we go. Oh shit, no, that's not the one I want to touch. There we go, that's the one I want to touch. Light is still like looking a bit weird. I don't want that like edging, so let's make it 100. And 100. There we go, I think that's better. Let's see how that looks. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'll probably work on this like lighting a bit more, but this is just like a little like this is our first shot, pretty much. So next we want to add to here. We want to add a new node. We want to add what's called the wet node. Now this is a custom node, and I in the description I will have a link to it, but for now I'm not gonna like pull up the window or anything. This is just to like show you it. So it's called a wet node, and as I said, this is a custom node, so you would have to open it in a new Blender file and then and just like add it as a node, custom node to your scene. It's a simple process. Oh, I actually forgot to do it. I actually forgot to add it to this scene. Okay, well, I guess, and I forgot how to actually do it myself. And in that case, I guess I'm actually gonna stop here, because it is it's not that bad of a process, but I wasn't really planning on adding the node, adding a whole new node to this. So so I'm just gonna leave this as is, and we're gonna try and render this actually, and hopefully Blender doesn't crash on me. While I'm rendering and recording. It shouldn't crash though, because I didn't really change a lot. Alright, and so now let's try and render it to see if we can actually render this without this crashing. So let's, yeah, it's done rendering. Okay, so let's try and render it. See what happens. Alright, and it's processing everything. It looks like my graphics card is actually handling it. Oh, it's working pretty well. I do have a little bit of noise, but okay, and it seems that it handled it pretty well. And so yeah, this is the completed render. I will be adding some a wet node to this, which I guess I can do another video tomorrow on this, because I was actually planning on doing this in this video, but I can quickly just add it to a new add it to the scene next time. So yeah, that is how you basically just take a simple, you know what, actually, let me go ahead and remove that extra light that I had to make it look more like a night scene. Let me move to look dev so I could see it better. Yeah, this light right here, let me go ahead and actually remove it. And I will actually, if I don't want, oh, I don't know what all that is for. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Huh. Alright, so I'm actually going to delete all these lights. That way the only light is coming from there, and it looks more like a night scene. Now let's render this. See how that looks. It should be a lot darker, which is what we want, because when you have a a night scene, you really only have like not a lot of light sources. You have a light from the moon and then your other light sources. Maybe I'll add in one more. No, I think that actually looks pretty good. Yeah, one more. I'll add in one more light. This looks really good though. Yeah, that other one was had too much light. This is what it's supposed to look like. But I do want the there to be at least some extra light. So let's go ahead and add a sun lamp. Add. And what we're gonna do is we'll put this where the actual light ends. So let's enter rendered view so I can see how it looks. Yeah, that's a lot better. One source of light, and it's not completely dark. Okay, so now let's render this. All right, and I am actually pretty happy with this. It is a little bit bright because I think it's a little too bright actually. Let's go into the light and trim it down by half. Now let's see how that looks. Because I wanted to like their to be light, but I don't want the entire scene to be visible. Yeah, I think that's better. because it shows that the light is right there, and the and and, mm, and you can still see it, but it's better. I think I could push it a little bit more though. Yeah, let's go ahead and make this 0.1 actually. Oh, what the? I think that's actually too much. 0.2. Uh, 0.3. Nah, let's go back to 0.2. Okay, let's see how that looks. Because I think 0.1 would be too much, too dark. Because I'm trying to create a realistic light. Like, I think that this looks actually pretty good. You can still see the playground, and you can see that the light ends right there. It's not dark enough that you can't see the cobblestone. And I know those trees look really bad, but this was free free assets. So that's what happens when you do use free assets. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with this. Yeah, this looks pretty good actually. I think the light might be a little bit too strong over here. Yeah, let's go ahead and actually decrease the strength on that one actually. Because we'll say that like this is a weaker light or something. See how that looks. I think after this that should be good. Yeah, and adding those trees were a pain, actually. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. All right, yeah, and I'm pretty happy with this. So yeah, and so that's basically how you turn a day scene into a night scene. I apologize for how long this video was, because there was a lot of there weren't any issues per se. It's just getting the scene exactly how you actually want it. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. You can still see the cobblestone where the light ends, and it's not too bad. And the the light is bouncing off pretty good. You only have a few light sources, which is what you want, and you can still see the playground, which is pretty good. This is a little grainy, though. It is a little bit grainy though, but that's because I left it at the default sample rate. So if you want to get rid of that samples, then you would in your case you would probably use the I can't remember what it's called. I think it's NVIDIA's anti denoiser, but which is standard in Blender 2.9. But right now I'm still using Blender 2.8 because I haven't upgraded yet. But in the next scene I'm going to be working on after this, I am going to be upgrading to Blender 2.9 I mean. So that's going to be, so I will have access to those to those denoisers. But for now I'm relying on Blender's default one. So yeah, this has been Mega, and I will see you again next time.